Hello and good evening, all of you. Welcome back to Live Law Academy. And today's discussion is related to an important aspect, and I will show you first as to how is this important. Okay. So if you have seen the discussion, if you have seen the topic that we have shared with you, it basically highlights and it says that this is about Supreme Court of India. And there are multiple facets of discussion related to Supreme Court of India because there are plenty of questions. Almost you can expect one or two questions at least in every exam. If specifically not with perspective of legal GK, then it can be asked from the Indian Constitution part, right? So it is essential for you to know certain important factors about the Supreme Court of India. And then whatever is happening in the recent times, you can continuously, whatever appointments are happening, whatever the recent thing that you see, the recent update wherein we can, the question related to impeachment has come in question. So you should be knowing as to what is the procedure of impeachment, all of these factors, right? So this is specific to what is happening recently. But let's now see the previous year paper trend and try to understand that what sort of questions have been asked. So I have certain question papers with me. I have taken certain papers from Haryana Judiciary, Delhi Judiciary, UP and this is just to give you an idea as to what type of questions you can expect and how you are supposed to prepare for your exam. So if you see the last year 2022 paper of Delhi Judiciary, you see the first question that is mentioned here. The first question is related to a topic that we have done in our previous class. So if you have not covered the lectures that we have already done, you can definitely refer to those. I will directly move to the question related to Supreme Court. Okay. So if you see here specifically, it asks about that how many judges have been appointed in the Supreme Court of India, and because the paper was, the question was asked in 2022, so it says that till 2022. So even till present, you should be knowing about the answer, right? And you should be knowing that who are the present sitting judges. So you should have all these knowledge, and I will show you the list of the judges also, wherein we'll get the answer. This is specifically to, me giving you an idea as to how you're supposed to prepare. Then we have Delhi High Court. If this is a specific state specific exam, you have to know what is the sanction strength of the state judiciary that you are preparing for. Who have been the Chief Justice with the shortest tenure? So I have highlighted Rajendra Babu, but that is one of the Chief Justices who had the shortest tenure. But it was the answer will be Justice K.N. Singh with almost 17 days of tenure. Then how many times have we not followed the seniority measure? These are different questions which you can expect in your exam, and I am showing you the question papers itself for you to get an idea as to how you're supposed to prepare. Okay, then we go to this question. This specifically is from the mains examination, which says that how the Constitution of India secures independence and impartiality of judiciary. Now, if you have studied in your college days, you must be knowing the appointment of judiciary is one of the, one of the factors as to how we actually cover and how do we actually follow the principle enshrined in Article 50. Article 50 of the Indian Constitution talks about separation of power as to how we are supposed to follow the doctrine of separation of power and how the judiciary has to be separated from executive, right? So in this particular question, you are supposed to answer that how judiciary has been, can maintain its impartiality and can maintain its independence. So one is when we talk about the tenure of judiciary, the tenure of judges or the removal of judges is such a tedious process, right? So it will be, it has to be passed by both the House of Parliament. We have a law also which suggests that what is to be done. So there is a lengthy process with regards to first thing, the removal. Secondly, we understand the tenure of judges is also not at the discretion or whims and powers of the executive, right? Then we have already granted them inherent power when we talk about Article 32 or 226. So this talks about judiciary. So you can keep in mind that, you can also write keeping in mind the question or aspect of High Court. Then it says discuss those provisions and refer to the important judgments of the Supreme Court. So I'll be telling you and I'll be running through the judgments with you. But the provisions are something that we are highlighting right now. Then we also have Article 121, wherein we specifically understand that how, the salaries or the procedure or the judges, whatever is happening in the judiciary will not be highlighted or will not be a matter of discussion in the parliament, right? Or in the legislative wing. So whether we talk about salaries, whether we talk about this Article 125, all of these are also hinting at the idea of the impartiality of judiciary. So this is also something related to the Supreme Court as to the working of Supreme Court. So बेसिकली मैंने अभी आपको जो 2-3 क्वेश्चन पेपर दिखाए हैं, क्वेश्चन पेपर्स, दिल्ली जुडिशरी का प्रिलिमिनरी पेपर है, यूपी जुडिशरी 2016 का मेंस का पेपर है, इन सब में आपको दिख रहा है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट से रिलेटेड समहाउ उससे रिवॉल्व करते हुए क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए हैं. ओके, देन हियर the other question is related to in what ways can the president of India ascertain the views of the Supreme Court on a particular bill. अब क्या हो रहा है, हम अगर आपने पढ़ा है तो आपको immediately strike कर गया होगा that this is basically a question based on Article 143 of the Indian Constitution. हमारा Article 124 to 147 जो है वो डील करता है सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया के प्रिंसिपल को, राइट? सो कौन से सिचुएशन में प्रेसिडेंट जो है वो व्यूज सीख कर सकता है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के किसी भी पर्टिकुलर बिल पे, किसी भी पर्टिकुलर मैटर पे विच इज ऑफ ऑफ पब्लिक इंपॉर्टेंस. देन एट द सेम टाइम क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट को मैंडेटरली अपनी एडवाइस देनी ही देनी है या फिर वो डिनाई कर सकता है? एंड इफ द एडवाइस हैज बीन गिवन, the title very clearly says, 143, that it is the advisory jurisdiction. So will it be binding on the president or will it only be a advice that they may or may not opt for? So this is also a question which is, which has been asked from the aspect of Supreme Court only. Then we go to another paper. This is DGS Mains Examination, wherein you see the first Federal Court of India was set up in Delhi in 1937, and you're supposed to write on it or elaborate on it. Now, if you do not know federal court, you do not know how it is associated to the Supreme Court of India, you may not be able to write it, correct? So that is why we will begin from the beginning and we will cover as to what is the present situation, what is the strength, how do we appoint the judges, and what is the, who are the present sitting judges, what is roster, what is collegium. All these are important factors for you to know for your exam. Okay, so this has been asked. I'll just take you through some more questions and so that we get clarity as to the importance of the topic. Now, this is from 2022, wherein it has asked that which of the following is a court of record. So if you have studied in your college again, or if you have ever read Indian Constitution, you must be knowing that both the Supreme Court as well as the High Court are the court of records. Okay, and we say that because of Article 129 and we have 215 for the High Court. So both are court of record. What is the meaning of it being a court of record? That firstly, that all the records are maintained. Then we also see that the contempt power are also mentioned in the same article. So you should be knowing about that also. Okay, then you should be also remembering the provision, okay, the number of article, because that also is asked. I'll just show you in the other questions that have been asked here in the same exam. They have asked specifically about the advisory jurisdiction. They have asked about the review jurisdiction. They have asked about the seat of Supreme Court. So 129 says that it is a court of record, and 130 says that the seat of Supreme Court will be, as per decided in Article 130. Okay, so ye aapko number of provision is also something that you should be knowing for your examination purpose. Okay, this is from this particular paper, and then I think we have 1 or 2 more left. Let me just quickly run through these also. In this exam, they have asked about who among the following was the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court during the British India. Now, they are not asking you, as to who was the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Judicature at Calcutta. Abhi we will discuss all of this, okay? So, Supreme Court during the British India, and the answer is A, right? So, these are names that you should be knowing. After we introduced Indian Constitution, which was done in 26th 26 November is when we introduced, and 26 January is when it was came into force. After 2 days, on 28th January, we established and the Supreme Court of India started working. Okay, so the commencement and the first hearing, and here the answer will be H.J. Kane. So, of the independence, after the independence or before the independence, when it was still regulated by the British India, the answers are different. So, here it is basically talking about the Supreme Court that was established at Calcutta, and this is talking about the Supreme Court of India, which is and which was first introduced and placed in the Delhi. Okay. So these are all factual questions, problem-based, provision-based questions, which you can expect in your examination. Now, without further ado, I have other papers also, but I will now just go to the discussion on Supreme Court of India. I'll try to keep it very precise. So what we are doing here is I am very quickly taking you through certain provisions and certain aspects of which are important for you to know related to Supreme Court of India. Okay, एक इन डेप्थ एनालिसिस होगी जब हम इसको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में समझते हैं, जब हम जुरिसडिक्शन पे लेंदी डिस्कशन कर सकते हैं, अपॉइंटमेंट पे लेंदी डिस्कशन कर सकते हैं. बट माय ऑब्जेक्टिव हियर इज to give you a brief understanding as to how important the topic is. So I began with certain questions that I have shown you. If whatever question paper you may pick, you may find something related to the Supreme Court of India, their jurisdiction, their powers, whether they can exercise judicial review or not, what is the appointment of judges, all these certain aspect of the Supreme Court has been asked in these papers, right? And I've already given you a glimpse of it. Now let's come to the story part of it. Let me, run you through a story in which you have to remember the year, in which you have to remember certain names, and this will help you write and understand the way the present Supreme Court of India has been established. So let's start with this. There have been, certain historical parts which plays a very crucial role. For example, when we talk about the Battle of Plassey, right? When we talk about the mutiny, revolt, that 1857 mutiny, right? There are certain areas in the history of India which has been one of the motivating factors for how the law looks presently. So when the Battle of Plassey happened, after that we saw that the assertion or East India started growing, right? Their administrative power, they started regulating, and therefore they also understood that they have to introduce a uniform system of judiciary. We had personal laws, we had our own laws, they had the common law that they wanted to introduce, and because of this, we came up with the judicial plan in 1772. This is an important aspect for you to remember. So what has happened here after East India Company started expanding and, they were at liberty to exercise sovereignty, they also acknowledged the fact that there has to be, the judiciary also has to be under their control. And therefore, the Judicial Plan of 1772 was introduced, after which we came up with the Regulating Act of 1773. So the Supreme Court, which was mentioned in our question, in one of our question under the British India, this was established by the Regulating Act of 1773, wherein we introduced the Supreme Court at Calcutta. Okay, so these are important aspects. It was introduced at the Fort William. Okay, we understand that it was to introduce a formal judicial system in India with the, the best principles, that some of them which we still follow, right? The first Chief Justice, the name is mentioned here, it would have been helpful for you. Now, by this, we established a Supreme Court in Calcutta. Then after this, there were times, these are time and year important for you to remember, wherein we established Supreme Court at Madras and Supreme Court at Bombay also. So this subsequently took place, wherein we started establishing the Supreme Court in other jurisdictions. And later, and you see, these are presidency towns only, right? Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta. And after a point in 1861, so we go from 1773 to 1861. और आपको इसको एक स्टोरी के जैसे समझना है, okay? If you start feeling that, oh, how will I remember all these year and all these provision, then it may look like a task for you. But if you remember it as a story, try to connect it to the anecdotes, the historical anecdotes, it will help you remember it, right? So from 1773 to 1861, right? We introduced the Indian High Courts Act, and we changed, and we said that all of these will now be considered as the High Court. And that is how we have all these oldest, one of the oldest High Court that we have in Calcutta, in Bombay, right? That was done by the Indian High Courts Act. Now, after this, we established another court. So, first is Supreme Court at Calcutta, and then the next important court that you have to remember is the Federal Court of India. The Federal Court of India was established in 1937, was established by the Government of India Act 1935. क्या किया हमने हमने पहले रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट से 1773 के एक्ट से 1774 में सुप्रीम कोर्ट एट कैलकटा एस्टैब्लिश किया. देन हमने गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट 1935 में जहां पर मेंशन किया, और आप देखो वो कैलकटा में था, और लेटर हमने जब कंट्रोल शिफ्ट कर दिया था इन दिल्ली, एज वी अंडरस्टैंड इन 1911, दिस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हैड हैपेंड ऑलरेडी. नाउ वी एस्टैब्लिश्ड फेडरल कोर्ट of India in Delhi itself. Okay, so no more in Calcutta. Now this was established in Delhi. And because Government of India Act 1935 has been one of the sources of the present constitution, you also see the similarity in jurisdiction. This is very similar to our original jurisdiction that we have today. I will show you original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. But the idea is that the federal court was established. The federal court was considered as a Supreme Court, as the apex court, and therefore it had the jurisdiction that it could entertain dispute between provinces. जो आज हम बोलते हैं कि state के बीच में dispute है, तो उसको कौन entertain करेगा. Okay, so I hope अभी तक आपको जो हमने discussions किए हैं वो समझ आए होंगे कि कैसे हम एक लॉ से, एक फेज से निकल के 1935 तक आए हैं with regards to only understanding as to how judiciary is working. Okay, अभी हमारा टास्क क्या चल रहा है, जुडिशरी की, हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट पे अभी पहुंचे नहीं है, प्रेजेंट सुप्रीम कोर्ट पे हम उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग और उसकी एवोल्यूशन को समझ रहे हैं. और मैं ऑलरेडी आपको क्वेश्चन दिखा चुकी हूँ. द क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम एनीथिंग. इट कैन बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम the Federal Court of India, it can be asked from the Supreme Court of Calcutta, and therefore you should be knowing about all of these related factors for your exam. Okay, and then with the Indian Constitution, when we introduce our Constitution, we also, if you see, we have part 5 by which we have introduced that we are going to have 3-tier judiciary, right? The 3-tier judiciary works like this, that we have Supreme Court, we have High Court, and we have subordinate courts. And therefore, the Supreme Court, being the apex court, was introduced. All right. And it was said, the first, as I already told you, you have to remember this date, 28th January. 26th of January is when we introduced the Constitution. After this, after 2 days of this day, we said that the Supreme Court was inaugurated. And it says that after India became sovereign, democratic, and republic. So what is missing from here? Why have I not mentioned secular? Yes. Does anyone know? Why have I not mentioned secular here? Why have I not mentioned socialist here? So this was introduced much later. Yes, after the 42nd Amendment. Yes, very right. So therefore, when we move in chronology, your answer also should be, should be focusing on the concept clarity that you must have related to this. So यहाँ पर हमने 28th January में inauguration किया. The inauguration took place in the old Parliament building in the Chamber of Princes. You should remember this point as well. And these were the people who took part in the inaugural proceedings. So seeing the level of exam getting more and more difficult, you may be asked these names as well. So just glance through these names at least once for you to be in a position to answer this. So we had first Chief Justice of India, that is H.J. Kania, right? Then we have judges from the Federal Court who, because the Federal Court was transferred and was transformed into the Supreme Court, so these judges also were moved to the Supreme Court of India. And now, accordingly, we go to the provisions of Indian Constitution. So we have paucity of time. मैं आपको वो explain कर रही हूँ the essence of the provisions. आप accordingly साथ में when you are watching my video, if you're live here, if you watch it later also, you can do this exercise that you keep your Indian Constitution, the copy of Indian Constitution, and confirm everything and read everything. Try to understand. It will act as a revision. It will help you understand better also. Okay. So what are we discussing now? That हमने first समझ लिया that Supreme Court has been established. This is the inaugural proceeding that took place. Now, what will be the strength of Supreme Court? How the appointment will take place in the Supreme Court? Who will be the judges? What are their qualifications? What is, who gets to give the oath to the judges? Is it only the president that will give the oath or somebody else can also do so? Because अगर आप news में vigilantly देखते हैं, so there are a lot of times when the president may not be giving the oath to the judges. So who will do so? ये सारी डिस्कशंस हम पढ़ेंगे. इससे पहले बिकॉज ओथ का कॉन्सेप्ट आया है, इट इज द थर्ड स्केड्यूल which provides the oath as to how oath is to be given to certain authorities. So अगर आपने नहीं पढ़ा है, it is important that you also read third schedule of the Indian Constitution that covers the concept of oath. और oath उसी के format में दी जाती है, which is so mentioned in the third schedule to the judges. Okay. Now, Article 124 talks about the strength. All right. Article 124 tells very clearly that the present, when it was made, when the Constitution was introduced, we very clearly specifically said that we have a strength of Chief Justice of India and 7 judges. Okay. So the strength was mentioned to be 1 plus 7, but at the same time, it was also mentioned that the Parliament can increase this number. We evolve in law, right? And therefore such evolution we understand. And agar aapne dhyan se kabhi ye sare there have been wave of how the judiciary has become much more activist, and how a lot of different type of jurisdiction has been introduced. For example, 1980s mein wo wave aayi hai of PIL, of understanding how PIL will work for different aspects, different laws. Then 1990s you see a lot of commissions, a lot of tribunals were established. So ye jo growth hua hai, with that we acknowledge the fact, back in time only we acknowledged and we understood that there the judiciary will get burdened more and more. उस time पे इतनी appeal नहीं आएंगी, but धीरे धीरे gradually a lot of appeal will start reaching to the judiciary, and therefore as and when needed we are giving and granting this power to the parliament that they can increase the number of the judges, and the increase has been done accordingly. So ये screenshot ले लीजिए, ये year याद रखिए, strength कैसे कैसे increase हुई है याद रखिए, and presently the current strength is 1 plus 33. 1 Chief Justice. The sanctioned strength at the present time is that there will be 1 Chief Justice of India and there will be 33 judges. Okay. And this was last introduced in 2019. So this is how the strength has to be understood, who has the power and who has the authority to increase the number of judges. From 8 judges, we have now come to 34. There you can expect a question as to, how judiciary can work more efficiently, and one way can be by increasing the strength of the judges or the sanctioned judges. Okay. Now, the Chief Justice and judges, I have not mentioned that here, but this is a document from the website of Supreme Court of India only. You can access this document on the website. The idea is here to tell you that you are supposed to know these basic facts. You are supposed to know when you read judgments. I hope you all are in the exercise of reading judgment. When you read judgments, you have to remember, especially the Supreme Court judgments, you have to know which judge has given which judgment. Okay, who are the senior most judges who are expected to be the who are in the line of being the next Chief Justice of India. And therefore you see here we have Justice B.V. Nagaratna, right, and we have Justice Bela M. Trivedi. So these are the 2 sitting women judges. As I told you, question has been asked, kitne women judges aaj tak appoint hue hain. Question can also be asked that kitne presently women judges hain presently in the Supreme Court. So you should be knowing about it. We also are expecting her to be the first women Chief Justice of India. Okay. देन whosoever जहां भी रिसेंट अपॉइंटमेंट्स होते हैं, क्यों अपॉइंटमेंट होते हैं, वो अभी हम डिस्कशन करेंगे. सो यू कैन गेट अ कॉपी ऑफ दिस फ्रॉम द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया वेबसाइट, विच wherein you will get the name of all the judges, whosoever is there, and the Chief Justice of India. He is the 51st Chief Justice of India. This is an important factor which you should know. Then आपने passing reference में term सुना होगा roster, right? So आपको पता हो, I think I have not downloaded the roster. I do not have the copy of roster right now, but you can also get the copy of the roster from the Supreme Court of India website. How roster is made, how the different classification of cases are done. That is also something that you can understand from the documents present on the website of Supreme Court of India. So this is something which is important for you. You should know the name of the judges. You should know the strength of the present Supreme Court. You should know that who's the Chief Justice of India, from where was, he was transferred to the Supreme Court. You should know the parent High Court also of that particular justice. Okay. Then we move on to the aspect of jurisdiction. So there are different type of jurisdiction that are granted and are allowed to the Supreme Court. Now, it being the apex court, definitely we understand and we acknowledge the fact that it will also be the protector of our fundamental rights. So accordingly, we say that the Supreme Court will have certain set of jurisdiction. Sorry. Yes. What are these jurisdiction? So first is the original jurisdiction that the Supreme Court has. Then you have appellate jurisdiction. Then you see advisory jurisdiction that I was just talking about, right? Then you see there are SLPs also that can be filed. We have writs can be mentioned here only, right? Or you can write it differently also. Writ jurisdiction that the Supreme Court entertains, right? And you see that there are multiple type of powers that are available to the Supreme Court in exercising their powers for disposal of cases. For example, whatever the Supreme Court says becomes binding is mentioned in Article 141, right? The Supreme Court has the inherent power to do complete justice, which is mentioned in Article 142. These are important provisions which you should know. The Supreme Court can do a review of its own decision, Article 137. All these are, provisions which you should read with understanding the beauty of the provision. If you start reading it, understanding that, okay, that is why, a curative petition lies to the court. That is why the court takes suo motu cognizance. ये सब power कहाँ से आ रही हैं? These power are coming from these provisions only, right? When we talk about curative petition, suo motu cognizance, stare decisis, all these are related to the concept of the different provisions under the Indian Constitution, and all are important for your exam perspective. कोई भी आपको पूछ सकता है stare decisis का principle कौन से provision में mentioned है under the Indian Constitution. Okay, so briefly I'll take you through the jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction, as the name suggests, we understand that we go to, civil cases, and for criminal cases, we go to the subordinate courts. We do not directly go to the Supreme Court unless and until there is violation of fundamental rights, right? So therefore, the Supreme Court can be reached by the government in certain cases, okay, when there is a dispute. अब आपको Federal Court of India का अगर provision याद आ रहा हो, I already showed you the jurisdiction which was available to the Federal Court of India was something very similar to this. Provinces में अगर clash हो रहा है, दो states में clash हो रहा है, water dispute, कितने सारे water treaty disputes होते रहते हैं, right? So in all these cases where there is conflict between the government, state, different type of states, the jurisdiction lies to the Supreme Court solely, okay? And original jurisdiction is with the Supreme Court. Then we understand that there is also a power of, discretion as to the advice, where the Supreme Court can transfer certain matters, can take up certain matters. मैंने आपको section 406 एक judgment में cover किया था, वहां भी हमने transfer पढ़ा था, and I gave you a hint about this, right? So article 139A भी एक ऐसी power है जो Supreme Court के पास as a original jurisdiction available है. Suo motu, on the application or advice of the AGI, the court can take up cases which are pending before the High Court. Okay, and the court can also make transfer from one court to another, and also the jurisdiction present under Article 32. If there is violation of fundamental right, you can directly reach to the Supreme Court, and that is why it will be called as original jurisdiction. Okay, so I hope अभी आपको original jurisdiction समझ आई है. Then appellate jurisdiction है, जितने भी हमारे केसेस होते हैं, सिविल केसेस, क्रिमिनल केसेस, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल केसेस, आप अपील के थ्रू हाई कोर्ट से जा सकते हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास. देयर आर सर्टेन रिक्वायरमेंट, जैसे सब्सटैंशियल क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ रिलेटेड टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होना चाहिए. अब हमें यहाँ से जाना है तो सब्सटैंशियल क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ विच इज ऑफ जनरल इंपॉर्टेंस होना चाहिए. क्रिमिनल मैटर्स में देयर आर सर्टेन रिक्वायरमेंट्स कि आपने ट्रायल कोर्ट से हाई कोर्ट ने केस विड्रॉ किया और डेथ सेंटेंस दे दिया. ऐसे केस में आप क्या कर सकते हैं, आप एक सर्टिफिकेट लेके सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास बाय वे ऑफ अपील जा सकते हैं. राइट. सो ये तो बात हुई जब हम डिस्कशन करते हैं दैट फ्रॉम द हाई कोर्ट यू आर टेकिंग द अपील टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. Can from the trial court directly we can reach to the Supreme Court? Yes, in cases of special leave petition. Okay, so that is why it is called or named as SLP, because here you can make an appeal from any court or from any tribunal and you can directly go to the Supreme Court. So यहाँ जो certificate की requirement है या यहाँ जो hierarchy follow करने की requirement है वो SLP में वो requirement नहीं होगी. ठीक है. Then we talk about the advisory jurisdiction, which I have already discussed with you, that the president can seek advice from the court, and these are the multiple other factors wherein we see that how the Supreme Court has certain jurisdiction. Writ jurisdiction, it is a court of record and it can also punish for its contempt. ये सारी discussion हुई है with regards to what are the different type of jurisdiction that the Supreme Court entertains. The next discussion will be related to the appointment, and I will try to stop here. I think yes, this we have already crossed 31 minutes. So with this I will explain you this is the last thing as to how the appointment takes place, and then maybe we can do a part 2 also related to different aspects of Supreme Court of India. So if you want me to cover that, you can definitely let me know. I'll just check your comments also right now, and definitely we will do a second part also if that is so required. Okay. अब इसको ये सेकेंड स्टोरी समझिए. पहली स्टोरी मैंने आपको जो समझाई थी वो एक एवोल्यूशन ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट के को लेकर समझाई थी. ये सेकेंड स्टोरी है विद रिगार्ड्स टू कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में बैठेगा कौन और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जो जज पहुंच रहा है वो पहुंचेगा कैसे. इज दैट गोइंग टू बी डन बाय द एग्जीक्यूटिव? अगर एग्जीक्यूटिव करेगा तो क्या वो गलत नहीं है, बिकॉज आर्टिकल 50 तो बोलता है सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर फॉलो करना है. एंड मैम आपने एग्जीक्यूटिव ही क्यों बोला? सो बेसिकली सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया बनने से पहले और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से पहले द अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ जजेस वर द पावर लाइड विद द एग्जीक्यूटिव. सो इट वॉज द क्राउन दैट यूज टू डू द अपॉइंटमेंट, राइट, और वो एग्जीक्यूटिव ही रन कर रहा था. बट हमने जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इंट्रोड्यूस किया तो हमने एक्नॉलेज किया सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर को, हमने कोडिफाई किया उस पावर को, हमने एक्नॉलेज किया in the law that how the appointment is to be done. Now, I will have to take a small liberty and take you to a particular provision, that is Indian Constitution, Article 124, Clause 2. I'll just be showing you this. This tells you as to where the confusion lies. आपने first judge's case, second judge's case ये नाम सुने होंगे. The confusion and the answer that has been given in these different series of cases comes from this Article 124 only. So we will refer to Article 124 too. Okay, I'm going to read this out for you. Every judge of the Supreme Court shall be appointed by the President. Okay, so the appointment is done by the President. If you go to Clause 8, you also see Clause 6, you see that the appointment of the judges shall be when he makes and subscribe before the President or some person appointed on oath according to the format of thought. So the oath is granted by the President and the appointment is also done by the President that we have seen. Okay, so that is there. But is it only the President or there is something else also? So it says, by the President after consultation with such of the judges of the Supreme Court and of the High Court in the state as the President may deem necessary. Now the question is, such judges, कितने judges, 6 judges, 2 judges, 4 judges, 3 judges, what is the meaning of this term consultation? यही जो एक एम्बिग्विटी थी, इसी को इंटरप्रेट किया गया है, इसी को एक्सप्लेन किया गया है in the different cases that starts from 1982 and have been resolved by the third judges case in 1999. Okay, ईयर याद करने की कोशिश करिए आप ये तीनों जजेस केसेस के, because that will that is important for you to trace as to why is all of this happening. 1982 ये सारी डिस्कशन जो स्टार्ट हो रही है, उससे पहले हमने ऑलरेडी देख लिया था दैट इन 1970s the appointment that was done was not done following the right or the procedure that the law expects us to do. So जब जस्टिस रॉय का अपॉइंटमेंट हुआ, जब जस्टिस बेक का अपॉइंटमेंट हुआ, हमें रियलाइज हुआ वहां, if you know the story, right, Indira Gandhi government appointed the same, and therefore the reason was favorism that they wanted to impart, wherein they did not follow what has been usually followed in the appointment of the Chief Justice of India, right? So इन सबको क्लैरिटी देने के लिए हमने फर्स्ट जजेस केस इंस्टीट्यूट किया, एंड द लास्ट पार्ट इज दैट द चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया शैल ऑलवेज बी कंसल्टेड. बट कंसल्टेड का मतलब क्या है? लेट्स ट्राई टू गो बैक to our cases and try to understand. So I'll just be briefly summarizing this for you. This is the name of the first judge's case. Okay, SP Gupta versus Union of India. One of the attorneys from the Allahabad court who understood that we need clarity with respect to this particular regard. And first judges case की summary ये है, basically 7 judges की bench बैठी और दूसरे में हमने 9 judges की bench देखी है. First judges case ऐसा पहला case है जहां पर the Supreme Court itself gave the power to the executive. Itself said that the consultation that is to be done with the Chief Justice of India does not have to mean concurrence. So जो भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस ने कंसल्टेशन में बताया है प्रेसिडेंट को, वो बाइंडिंग नहीं है प्रेसिडेंट के ऊपर, एंड देयरफॉर हमने पावर किसको दे दी? हमने पावर दे दी एग्जीक्यूटिव को विद रिगार्ड्स टू द अपॉइंटमेंट. ओके, सो प्रेसिडेंट कुड ओवरराइड द व्यूज of the consultees. There was no clarity with respect to whether we have a collegium system, what will be the strength of collegium. ये सारी डिस्कशन फर्स्ट जजेस केस में नहीं हुई, बिकॉज फर्स्ट जजेस केस ऐसा केस है जहां पर हमने हैंड ओवर कर दी पावर टू द एग्जीक्यूटिव. एंड आई वुड जस्ट वांट यू टू टेक अ पॉज एंड सी दैट हु आर द जजेस. All these names, all these judges are names that you must have heard of, right? So then after this, the confusion did not last for too long, and immediately we came up with the second judge's case, wherein a 9 judges bench sat, and therefore they decided that concurrence will, when we say consultation will mean concurrence. Both are same, and it is important for us to opt for a collegium. Collegium क्या होता है? Collegium is basically, if you have to understand it in layman's language, it will be a group of people where everybody has equal saying and where everybody has equal power. ये collegium है. तो हमने एक कोलेजियम प्रपोज किया, और हमने इस कोलेजियम में बोला कि हमारे चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया अलॉन्ग विद 2 सीनियर मोस्ट जजेस. सो सेकेंड जजेस केस है और 2 सीनियर मोस्ट जजेस है. इजी हो जाएगा याद करने के लिए. इस टाइम पे हमने इस कोलेजियम को रिफ्लेक्ट किया. जो भी कोलेजियम प्रपोजल देगा, जो भी रिकमेंडेशन देगा, वो प्रेसिडेंट के लिए बाइंडिंग हो जाएगी. ये सेकेंड जजेस केस में बोला गया. नाउ इसको अगर हम एस्पेक्ट को समझे तो वी सेड दैट दिस इज अ कंसल्टेटिव प्रोसेस, वेयर इन वी से दैट कंसल्टेशन वो एक कलेक्टिव ओपिनियन है, वो एक एक्चुअल में कंसल्टेशन है इन अ रियल मैनर, एंड इट ऑल्सो बिकम्स बाइंडिंग. सो बाय सेकेंड जजेस केस वी ट्राई टू रिस्टोर द पावर, एंड वी सेड दैट ओके, इट the judges, the judiciary will have a supremacy as to who will be appointed. But then the third judge's case has been invoked using the power under Article 143. हमारी president जो थे KR Narayanan, very, if you see his profile, very well educated, highly educated person, and he sought clarity. He writes to the Supreme Court and he says that I need clarity with respect to how are we actually supposed to appoint the judges and the Chief Justice, right? So this was again now in the third judge's case, a finality of the entire discussion and confusion took place. the court here said that we are going to continue with what we have suggested in the second judge's case. तो collegium तो होगा, but collegium की strength को हम increase कर देंगे. Okay, ये एक important facet है जहां पर हमने बोला that we will increase it to 4 senior most judges, and that is how even in present we are following the same mechanism. Okay, so collegium and concurrence के aspect को हमने समझा है from the third judge's case. यहाँ पर again clarity दे दी कोर्ट ने that the senior most judge only will be considered as the chief justice of India. Okay, यहाँ अब आप देखिए इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में कहीं ये प्रोसीजर मेंशन नहीं है, तो आपको ये क्वेश्चन आना चाहिए कि क्वालिफिकेशन मेंशन है बट of the judges, but appointment of CJI is not mentioned. So हमने by way of these conduct we have acknowledged and we have come to the conclusion from the precedent that it will be the senior most judge who will be elevated to the being the Chief Justice of India. Senior most is not on the basis of age, okay? Please mind it. Seniority is on the basis of experience, and आप retire 65 years पे होते हैं, but there is no minimum age that is mentioned for you to enter the Supreme Court, okay? So these are important factors which you should remember. Then we have fourth judge's case also, जिसको नाम दिया गया है, which was for holding the 99th amendment or holding that NJAC is what? Unconstitutional. Okay, so again later in time the government in 2014 introduced that we will have a commission, National Judicial Appointment Commission, and this was again a very hot topic at that period of time. और आज तक अगर आप जुडिशरी के अपॉइंटमेंट के प्रोसीजर की बात करें, because a lot of clarity is not there in the statute and it comes from the precedent, these cases become very very important for you. हुए हैं ये 1980s 90s और 2015 में, बट ये आज भी आपके लिए उतने ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके, सो एनजैक एक प्रपोजल इशू हुआ था विच द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हेल्ड विल बी unconstitutional because again it will be diluting the concept of separation of power, which is one of the essence of the of our Indian constitution. Okay, so with this I will be concluding now. Yes, एक last factor और समझ लीजिए that हमने keeping in mind the second and third judges case, we have now proposed our memorandum of procedure. ये memorandum of procedure जो है आपको government की website पे मिल जाएगा. Yeah, I have the copy of it. This is the memorandum of procedure tells us that how the initiation will be done. कैसे vacancy होगी तो chief justice को क्या करना है, write करना है, and accordingly what will be the procedure that will take place. Okay, so ये एक अगर आप अपना एक subjective answer लिख रहे हैं, so you can mention about memorandum of procedure also, which has been codified keeping in mind the judgment that have been given. Okay, and accordingly we follow this procedure for the appointment in the present time. So this is all that I could cover in a very brief period because we had paucity of time, definitely. So I have tried to keep it very brief, but I hope this has been beneficial for you. I have tried to show you the important aspects which can be asked in your examination, and I've tried to give you an insight as to how you're supposed to read it. Okay, but we can definitely do a follow-up session and do a great in-depth analysis of the judgments that have been passed, but that is subject to your feedback that I'm going to get. So if you have any doubts, you can please feel free to ask now, or you can let me know if you want me to cover any a follow-up session on this in the future. Yes. Any doubts? Yes, so the third, exactly, बिल्कुल जो हमारा third judge's case है वो reiteration and a lot more similar to the second judge's case है. It is just that the expansion that you see has happened of Collegium. Okay, that has definitely been acknowledged also. All right, any other doubts? Okay, so I'll see you again in the next discussion with another relevant judgment, recent judgment, and I hope this has benefited you. Thank you so much for your patience here.